Hello everyone, and let's talk about the Battleborn open beta. I've been playing this on the PlayStation 4. It went live on the PlayStation 4 on Friday, the 8th of April. It didn't go live. It doesn't go live on the PC and Xbox One until the 13th of April, which is when I'm recording this. I'm just waiting for it to go live right now. I'm going to check it out on PC and on Xbox One, but I've been playing the PS4 version for, a couple of days now, and it's pretty... I like it, to be honest with you. If you don't know what Battleborn is, it's kind of like a MOBA. It's mostly like League of Legends, Dota 2, only as a first-person shooter. You know how those games are top-down kind of RTS type games. This is very similar, only it's an FPS. It's kind of similar to Smite in a way. Smite is a third-person sort of action MOBA, so we say, not MMO. But yeah, it's very, very similar. It does have the PvPvE aesthetic in that it is very much a MOBA in that sense. You have to destroy. One of the other modes, Meltdown, is where you have to destroy, the other team, escort your minions into a little point on the map and destroy the other team's minions. The other mode, which I can't remember what it's called, is you have to destroy the team's sentry. It could be god or statue or turret or tower or whatever it is, but it is very, very MOBA centric. What it differs is how it's presented or how it works. It is very much a first-person shooter. The gameplay is, some characters play very much like a shooter. If you pick Oscar Mike, the Marine, pretty much plays like a shooter. It is character-driven. Again, in a MOBA, you pick the character, and the character that you pick starts at level 1. And as you play the match, the character levels up and you gain new abilities. There's no shop in this game. There's no item shop or anything like that. But you do gain new abilities every time you level. And every time you start a new match, you start at level 1, which I quite like, actually. You get a choice between 2 different abilities at each level. So you can pick, you could pick the sniper, for example. I like the sniper, actually. I like the Thorn, her name was. It was an elven... sniper. There's another one. There's like a mech sniper who's like a sort of gentleman robot sniper. It was quite funny. I like that. I like the sort of, she had an bow and arrow. Was a sniper. Had like nature damage and things. Did a lot of AOE, and was good from range. Not so good from close range. If you went up against a heavy character with a big machine gun. Very, very difficult, but it's interesting the way the class dynamics play out. There's healing classes, there's tanking classes. Most of the people just pick DPS. I should point out most of the people that play this on PS4 think it's Call of Duty, which I think is a shame, really, because, they focus more on the kill-death ratio, which I think is not the way to play it. I mean, there is a PvE element. You've got to kill the sentry. There's one sentry you've got to kill, and then you've got to kill the main sentry at the base. So there is a sort of back and forth attack and defend dynamic that goes on. You do get little minions that you can summon as well. There's other bigger creatures that you can summon. You collect things called shards, and you spend the shards on, you buy things like you can have turrets, you can have like healing stations, you can hire mercenaries to come and help you out, hire NPCs to help you out with your capture. The minions are they're kind of like the creepers in MOBAs. Basically what they do is they will disrupt the shielding of the sentry. It's called the sentry. And then you'll go in and finish it off. It takes a group effort, so there's a little bit of an attack and defend dynamic. Of course, you have to defend your own sentry as well. From these things, so it's kind of, I like the kind of dynamic that it works. Do you go all out attack and leave your sentry exposed a little bit, or do you go all out defense and try to exploit that? It's a pretty cool concept for a shooter. It actually works as an FPS. Now, if you're familiar with Borderlands, of course it's developed by Gearbox Software, then you should be familiar with how the game plays. Both in terms of its tone and its style, its thematic. It's very similar to Borderlands thematically. In terms of getting it to run on a PC, I don't see too many issues with it. The system requirements are fairly low. You've got the, I think it's a Core i5 first generation. I think it's an i5 750, and it's a AMD Phenom X4. Fairly old CPUs. The graphics cards, it's a GTX. I think it's a GTX 460 or something, and an HD 5870 are the minimum requirements. Nothing hugely taxing. What they've gone for is a very stylized look to the game. It's not going to be it's very similar to Borderlands. It's cel-shaded. It's very similar as well to Overwatch, which is coming out as well in the same month, weirdly enough, as Battleborn. Different type of game. Overwatch is more of an arena shooter, whereas Battleborn is very much a MOBA. So they're very different. People say, oh, they're just the same game. Very different. Yeah, I mean, Overwatch is a class-based arena shooter. Kind of similar. Overwatch is similar to Team Fortress 2, whereas Battleborn is similar to League of Legends. It shares more in common with that than it does with Overwatch. Getting those two mixed up already. You know, I'm probably gonna get them both. Overwatch looks really interesting. I saw the controversy about the gratuitous ass shot with the character. I was like, oh, fair enough. I'm not gonna get involved in that debate, to be honest. But yeah, Battleborn, pretty cool. I mean, I like the sort of tongue-in-cheek tone of it. It's very, very similar. If you're a fan of Borderlands, you'll like the tone. You'll love the tone of it. It is very sort of nonsensical, not very serious. I like the way it melds kind of everything. You've got like your heavy sort of big heavy gunner. You've got your agile elven archer. You've got a robot butler type thing. You've got a demon, sort of, she's like a teenage girl with a big demon on the back of her. She's quite cool. It's a kind of stealthy type class, but there's interesting kind of class dynamics. You've got melee classes as well, which I don't think work as in a first person shooter. I meant to say in a first person sense. Would like to see a third person camera for the melee characters. I think it would give them, because you do lose a lot of the field of view in first person as melee, and range do have a slight advantage, but there's some cool classes in there. I like the way they kind of all work together. If you're, an archer, you're a sniper type class, going up against a big heavy with a big machine gun one-on-one is not advisable. It's not advisable. So you have to kind of work your way around that. You get to pick your character at the start. You pick your character at the start and you stick with the same character throughout the match. One of the things I do like is the penalty for leaving the match is you cannot join another match until the match you left has finished. You can rejoin after quitting. I've seen a lot of people quit these matches, and honestly, it doesn't help the beta process if you just quit matches, to be honest. I'm not a fan of people quitting matches in beta. In a beta. It's a beta. Who cares if you lose? You're there to kind of test out the servers, test out the game. But I've enjoyed what I played of it so far. I'm certainly going to buy it. I'll probably buy it on PC. I don't know, PS4 version was pretty good. It ran pretty well. Frame rate dips occasionally when you had massive amounts of abilities going off. You do get some special abilities. Of course, you get an ultimate ability as well. It's a MOBA. Everyone needs an ultimate ability in a MOBA. But I've never really played that many MOBAs before, and I kind of enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed Battleborn. It was pretty decent so far. I'll check out the PC beta and the Xbox One beta as well, see what they're like on those systems. But I mean, like, a lot of console players didn't seem to get it, just run into the middle and kill each other, where the smarter players will find ways to get around the side and get in there. You want to get your minions in there, so you want to kind of dominating the middle part is a good idea. But then you want to get in behind and build turrets and collect shards and do things like that. And hire mercenaries was a big thing that you could do. I quite liked it. Nobody really wanted to do the minion rush map where you had to guide minions through and they had to go into a little thing, sacrifice the minions to the god it was. You had to, and then you could kill your the other team's minions as well. A lot of people didn't seem to get that. Really, that one wasn't very popular, but the typical MOBA one was. I can't remember what it's called now. So like, the one that was in the jungle, basically. I just call it the jungle level. that was it. Basically, it was fairly decent in the end. I would recommend it based on the beta. It's a cool idea, it's a cool concept. It has a lot more strategy to it than something like Call of Duty and Battlefront, obviously. So it's going to be interesting to see how much content it has at launch. That's the big thing. How many maps will there be? How many characters will there be? Hopefully it's not just a DLC fest, because unlike other MOBAs, it's a buy-to-play game. Okay, you have to pay money up front. Most MOBAs like League of Legends, Dota 2, Smite, free-to-plays, where you buy the character packs, basically, to unlock characters. This one is a buy-to-play game, so, you know, you do unlock characters by leveling or completing challenges, so that's something that's there. Depends how grindy it is. Beta, it's not been too grindy. I haven't really noticed the grind too much in beta. Certainly notice it a lot less than Battlefront. I hope it's going to turn out better than Battlefront, but I kind of enjoyed it. So anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.
Power play. Only 2 hostiles remain. Only 1 hostile remains. Press the advantage.
Your move, sir!
Team Sentry go! No, your technique is all wrong!